Hello friends and welcome to this tutorial of Slidescope. In this tutorial we are going to discuss about the multiple linear regression algorithm of machine learning, and multiple linear regression algorithm belongs to the supervised learning, and in the supervised learning it belongs to obviously the regression part. So in case of multiple linear regression, unlike linear regression, we have more than one variables, and more than one variables are responsible for the output. So in the training data, we will have more than one input variables, and the output variable will be dependent on those variables. So that training data will be used to train our model, and then we will predict the output with the help of those variables. So the equation in single variable was y is equal to mx plus c or mx plus v, whatever you want to call it, where y is the output variable, m is the slope or m is the coefficient, x is the input variable which is used for training, and b is the intercept of this straight line on y-axis. But in this case we have the input variable is now more than one, so we can have n number of input variables and m1 x1. So m1 is the coefficient of first input variable, where x1 is the input variable, first input variable. Then we have m2 x2 m3 x3. So m3 x3 is the third input variable, the coefficient of third input variable, and x3 is that third variable. So we know linear regression problems are basically used on quantitative input and output data. So this is the data set that we are going to analyze today using multiple linear regression. We are going to predict the charges of predict the charges of insurance for any particular person, where these are the attributes of that person. So we have age of different persons here, approximately 1300 people are there. So we have ages of 1300 people. Then we have 1339 people. Age, gender, BMI, children, smoker, region, and everything. So in this part, we have three numeric data, and we will use these three numeric data as input. So we have age, we have BMI, and we have children, and the output is obviously the charges that we have to predict. So we will train our model with the help of age, BMI, and children, and then we have to predict the charges. So this is x1, this is x2, this is x3, and this is y, and we have to find the value of m1, m2, m3. So x1 is known, x2 is known, x3 is known. Here we have to find y, we have to find, so to find y we must know the value of b, we must know the value of m1, we must know the value of m2 and m3. So our task is to find m1, m2, m3, and y. Then we will put our values in this equation: m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 plus b, or sometimes it is also called c, which is the intercept of line on the y-axis. So we will use this equation to find the value of y for any value of x, x1, x2, x3. Now this data set is called insurance.csv, and you can find it on kaggle.com website. So kaggle.com website is a very famous website which has competitions for data science machine learning. So you can download it from there. We are using Anaconda Navigator, and we are using the Jupyter Notebook. So let me launch Jupyter Notebook for you. So now I am inside my folder where my insurance.csv file is saved. I have some practice file here also, but so what you have to do is download the CSV file, save it in the folder, and then with the help of Anaconda Navigator, simply navigate to that folder where your insurance.csv file is saved. Then follow me and hit open a Python 3 file. I am going to name it multiple linear regression insurance charges prediction. So this is multiple linear regression insurance charges prediction. First, we have to import pandas as a PD. Pandas is the library which can be used to read various type of data files like CSV files, Excel files, SQL files, JSON file, HTML file. So you can read the two-dimensional, mostly the two-dimensional data that we have like CSV files, then Excel sheets are there, SQL files are there. So it can be very easily dealt with Python pandas, and it is used for data visualization also. Now we have to create a data frame. A data frame is basically same as this table here. So this table will be placed in this data frame, and we can read it in the tabular form here. So pd dot read underscore csv. Those who are not familiar with Python coding, those who are not familiar with Python pandas coding, they can still watch this video because these commands are very basic commands, and by following these commands you will be able to learn how to perform linear regression and various type of algorithms of machine learning. But I have a separate video about Python pandas, basics of Python pandas. So there are 4 to 5 videos about Python pandas. There's a full series of that. So that playlist is in this channel. I have a separate playlist for Python language, basics of Python language, what are variables, what are data types, what are methods, what are functions, what are libraries. So you can learn that from the Python part. But if you know everything, then simply follow me, and you have to type the name of your file here. So since it is saved in the same folder that I am using for Python Jupyter notebook, so I can simply type the name of my file. Now df.head. So from the top, how let us analyze top 15 rows in the data frame. So now we can see that age, gender, BMI, children, smoker region, and charges. So there are 7 columns here. But what I have to make sure, I don't want these columns which are not numerical. So I will just pick these numerical columns for analysis. And to do that, we can create a new data frame. Dfn is equal to df, that is the old data frame, and from that old data frame I will pick age, I will pick BMI, I will pick age, BMI, children, then I'll pick charges. So these are the 4 columns that we have to pick. There might be some error because there are more than one column we are selecting, so we have to use it inside a list. So now we have list of columns that we have taken from our original data frame, and our new data frame looks like this. So df underscore n is the new data frame. So we have 1337 values here, and 1338 patients here. So dfn, and next thing what we have to do is we have to pick the numeric values from dfn, and which are these 3 values. So we will use these 3 values as the input. So we will save them in capital X. So capital X is going to be our input data, and a small y which we have to predict from these three input. So this will be our output data. So ef underscore n, then two brackets, and then charges. So now our input data has these three columns: age, bmi, and children. And let me print the head of it, so it will give me top 5 rows. So this is the head of x, and this is the head of y. So these are 5 charges. So now, since we have all these values, so from sklearn, now we must import the algorithm. Must import the library that will help us in performing the formula, in applying the algorithm on it. So from sklearn, import linear underscore model. So you have to import this from sklearn to perform the problems of linear regression. So import it. What we can do one more thing, and if we want to see how this input data behaves, or how this input data is related to the output data, so what we can do is we can import Seaborn library. So Seaborn library can be used to plot graph between these things, and import Seaborn as SNS. So this will import the Seaborn library for us, and there is a basic, very simple function in Seaborn that can be used to plot the relationship between the input variables and the output variables. It is called pair plot. So this is the syntax of pair plot. Uh, so sns.pairplot df, which is our original data frame. X variables are age and BMI, and Y variables are charges, and the size of this plot is 7. The aspect is zero point 0.7. Let me reduce the size to 5, and let's plot it. So this is what this pair plot will give us, and in this pair plot we can see that the age is has some linear relationship between with the charges at some points, but the BMI is scattered along every place. So we can also use a regression line to fit between them. And to fit a regression line between them, all you have to do is you have to use another attribute here. Kind is equal to reg. So this will give us this plot here, where this method of pair plot is trying to fit a line of best fit in this data. So this is just to analyze how input and output parameters are behaving with respect to each other. The next thing is to create a regression variable, and this regression variable is mostly written as reg. You can write it anything, and this regression variable is used to create the regression model. And from the linear model, we are using the linear regression method to create this regression variable. Now we can use reg. This variable can be used to fit the x and y that we have created earlier. So we have to fit the input and output variables in this regression model. And when it is fit, so now we can see that we have this output. That means the fit is working fine. And now we can find the value of coefficient. So reg dot coef So this will give us the value of these three coefficients, so which we decided earlier. These are the values of m1, m2 and m3. And then we can also find the value of b or c, which is dot intercept, and you have to use the underscore here. So this is the value of intercept. So in this formula, this is the value of C. So now we have value of M1, we have value of M2, we have value of M3, and we have value of C. And X1, X2, and X3 are three random values. These are not random values. These values belong to any person. Suppose there is a person who has age of 33 years, and who has a BMI of 29.9. So this that so what we can do is, now we can predict. So now this is the time to predict the output, which is the charges for insurance. So what we can do here is, we have to use a function called reg.predict. In this function, we have to supply a two-dimensional array, and this two-dimensional array will have three values, because in this multiple variable regression we are using three inputs, and on the basis of those three inputs we have to find an output. So the three inputs, let's say the age of that person is 33 years old. Then second thing is BMI. Let's say BMI is 29.7, and body mass index, and this person has three children. So now we have got this array that the charges of insurance will be 12495. So this that's it. We have trained our machine how to find the charges of insurance on the basis of age, BMI, and number of children. And you can put any value here and you will get some output. Let us predict something else. Let's say the age of person is 23, body mass index is 25, and this person has no children. So now you can see the charges for insurance are less, 6,905, because this person has a perfect body mass index, and age is also considerably less, so which is also the case for insurance. If you want to, now you can take input from users by using x is equal to, you can use tkinter, you can use anything to take user input, and the output that we are getting here, you can save it in a list. Let's say my list is equal to this, and then simply use my list 0 to get the charges. So this is how you can get the charges, and so there are various ways in which you can take this thing out, and so this is, you can use because it's a two-dimensional array, so you have to use the 0 and 0 coordinates here. So now this is the charges, and this is the basics of multiple linear regression, how you can use multiple linear regression, and how you can apply this formula. You can manually apply this formula also. You can manually apply this to find the values also. So let's try to apply it manually. So the values of, these are the values of m1, m2, and m3. So what you have to do is multiply it by 23 plus, so this is m1 x1, then multiply it by 25, this is m2 x2, plus multiply it by m3 x3, so 542. So in this case 0, let's say that person has one kid, so this, and plus the value of c, and the value of intercept is minus 69 point this. So this will automatically be subtracted. Now this is the value of y. Y is equal to m1 x1 plus m2 x2 plus m3 x3 plus c y. So if the person has one kid, the value is slightly higher. Value of insurance is slightly higher. So this is how you can calculate multiple variable regression. Remember, this is the machine learning problem. It has some, it is not completely accurate, but it is showing us charges. It is showing us some results, and this particular method can be used to predict values. You can have anything on your x-axis, you can have anything on your y-axis. If the data is quantitative, then you can use the problem of multiple linear regression. If you have only one input and one output, you have to use the y is equal to mx plus c problem. If you have more than one input variables, you have to use the m1 x1 m2 x2 m3 x3 and so on up to whatever variables are there. So if this is a simple explanation of multiple linear regression, and if you have any problems, please share with us in the comment section. If you have any suggestions, please share with us, and stay tuned with us. Keep sticking to this channel because we are uploading new videos in the field of data science every day. So thanks for watching once again. Have a nice day.